Hello and welcome back. This time, I will talk a little bit about AWS Batch and what it is normally used for. So, AWS Batch is a set of batch management capabilities that allows developers, scientists, and engineers to easily and efficiently run hundreds of thousands of batch computing jobs on AWS. By batch computing, I mean running a series of programs, jobs in this case, on one or more computers without manual intervention. These jobs are usually predefined via scripts, command line, control files, etc. Therefore, a batch job may depend on the completion of previous jobs or the availability of certain inputs, so job sequencing and scheduling are important while being incompatible with interactive processing. Now, batch computing is primarily used in specialized use cases that require a large amount of computation to complete a task. This is accomplished through a pool of compute resources. AWS Batch is a fully managed service that allows you to run these batch computing jobs easily and efficiently on AWS. Outside of a cloud environment, it can be very difficult to maintain and manage a batch computing system. It requires specific software and requires the ability to consume the necessary resources, which can be very costly. However, with AWS Batch, many of these limitations, administration activities, and maintenance tasks are eliminated. You can seamlessly create a pool of compute resources that is highly scalable, taking advantage of the elasticity of AWS. AWS takes care of all provisioning, monitoring, maintenance, and cluster management, which means there is no software to install yourself. Now, what would be some use cases? Well, we have for financial services, which can include business activity analysis, drug monitoring in the biopharmaceutical industry, digital media for visual effects rendering, among others. With AWS Batch, you just package the code for your batch jobs, specify your dependencies, and submit the batch job via the management console, the CLI or the AWS SDKs. Now, there are effectively 5 components that make up the AWS Batch service that will help you start using this service and which is important for you to know. These components are jobs. A job is classified as a unit of work that will be managed by AWS Batch. For example, this can be a Linux executable file, an application within an ECS cluster, or a shell script. The jobs themselves run on EC2 instances as a containerized application. Each job can at any time be in several different states, for example, submitted, pending, running, failed, among others. Then we have the job definitions. These define specific parameters for the jobs themselves. They dictate how the job will run and with what configuration. Examples of these might be how many vCPUs to use for the container, what data volume to use, what IAM role to use, what AWS Batch access allows to communicate with other AWS services and mount points. Then we have job queues. Jobs that are scheduled are placed in a job queue until they are executed. It is also possible to have multiple queues with different priorities if needed. One queue could be used for on-demand EC2 instances, and another queue could be used for spot instances. On-demand and spot instances are compatible with AWS Batch, allowing you to optimize cost, and AWS Batch can even bid on your behalf for those spot instances. Then we have the job scheduler. The job scheduler takes control of when a job should run and from which compute environment. It will usually run for the first time and analyze the different job queues it has configured, ensuring that the highest priority queues are run first, assuming all dependencies for that job have been met. And finally, we have the computing environments. These are the environments that contain the computing resources to carry out the work. The environment can be defined as managed or unmanaged. A managed environment means that the service itself will handle the provisioning, scaling and termination of your compute instances based on the configuration parameters that you would enter regarding the instance type, the method of purchase, such as whether it is on-demand or spot. This environment is created as an Amazon ECS cluster. In managed environments are provisioned, managed and maintained by you, which provides greater customization. However, it requires more administration and maintenance and also requires you to create the necessary Amazon ECS cluster that the managed environment would have done on your behalf. So, watch for this difference for exam day. So, if you have a requirement to run multiple jobs in parallel using batch computing, for example, to analyze financial risk models, perform media transcoding or engineering simulations, then AWS Batch would be a perfect solution.